Lucy is a young woman sitting at her desk, staring at her office colleague and enemy named Joshua. Both are assistants to Richard and Helene, two executives who were forced to work together after their publishing companies had to merge to avoid bankruptcy, resulting in the creation of a new publishing company. Lucy reveals that when she first met Joshua, she tried to be friendly, but he treated her with coldness and disdain. Since that day, they have been constantly fighting and competing. During a meeting, Helene and Richard announce that they are opening a new position for the role of Chief Operating Officer. Hearing this, Lucy gets excited about the opportunity for a promotion. She then looks at Joshua and they exchange competitive glances. After the meeting ends, the two start arguing and end up betting that if one of them gets promoted, the other will have to resign. Minutes later, they return to the office. Upon arrival, Lucy encounters an employee named Danny who is waiting for her. He throws a small box at Lucy, and when Joshua shows interest in the box, Danny says she must have bought another Smurf, as Lucy likes to collect them. Joshua starts making jokes about Lucy's hobby, and the two get into another argument. Later, when Lucy is sleeping, she has a dream about Joshua and wakes up startled. The next day, to mess with Joshua's mind, she decides to wear a more striking outfit to work. As she struts into the office while Joshua watches, she ends up falling to the ground. After Lucy gets up, Joshua comments on her outfit and asks if she has a date after work. She responds that she does, and to cover this lie, she goes to Danny's office and invites him on a date that evening. At the end of the day, Joshua and Lucy are together in the work elevator. Joshua shows interest in Lucy's date by asking if she needs a ride, but she declines, and they start arguing once again. Then Joshua presses the stop button in the elevator and asks if she really hates him. At that moment, Lucy moves closer and kisses Joshua. While they are kissing, the security guard wants to know why the elevator stopped. Joshua responds that he accidentally hit the button. Moments later, Joshua gives Lucy a ride, and when he tries to talk about the kiss that happened in the elevator, she refuses to discuss it and asks him to stop the car. But Joshua says it's raining heavily and offers her his umbrella. However, she quickly gets out of his car. Minutes later, she arrives at the bar, completely soaked, to meet Danny. After chatting for a bit, she excuses herself to go to the bathroom. On her way, she runs into Joshua, who is entering the bar. He hands her the bag she forgot in the car and tries to talk, but Lucy isn't in the mood and tells him to leave. She then returns to her date with Danny, who asks if she has something going on with Joshua. Lucy responds that there is nothing between them, and Danny quickly changes the subject, and they start having fun together. The next morning, while getting ready for work, Lucy receives a bouquet of flowers and assumes Danny sent them, so she sends him a thank you message. Meanwhile, at work, Joshua apologizes to Lucy, and she accepts but says they can no longer talk about what happened in the elevator. At that moment, the peace between them doesn't last long, as they had to choose a group activity to improve the company's work environment. However, their bosses ended up choosing Joshua's idea, which made Lucy so angry that she imagined herself attacking Joshua, but she doesn't do it and pretends to stay calm. The next day, the employees are gathered for the activity and Lucy is still annoyed. Joshua, noticing this, continues to tease her. Then Danny asks Lucy if she wants to be on his team, but Joshua interrupts and says that the teams have already been decided. Minutes later, after Danny walks away, Joshua notices that Lucy looks pale and, when he touches her forehead, realizes she has a fever. However, Lucy insists that nothing is wrong and warns him to be careful because she's going to beat him during the game. Joshua then tells her that they are on the same team. During the paintball game, everything is going well until Lucy suddenly gets hit. Joshua tries to protect her but ends up getting hit himself. She then feels sick and vomits on Joshua. Realizing that Lucy is really sick, Joshua says he will take her home. When they arrive at her place, Joshua takes care of Lucy and lets her sleep. Moments later, Joshua wakes Lucy and tells her that his brother Patrick is a doctor and has brought him to examine her. Patrick then asks Joshua if he has changed his mind and decided to attend his wedding. Joshua is still unsure, but Patrick insists and also says that he can bring Lucy. Meanwhile, Lucy is listening to their conversation, but when Joshua enters the room, she pretends to be asleep. So he wakes her up to give her some tea, and at that moment, they start talking about their families. Joshua reveals that even though his father and mother are doctors, they never took care of him when he was sick because they were very busy. Lucy changes the subject and says she liked the kiss in the elevator, which surprises Joshua. The next day, Lucy arrives at work and finds Danny waiting with a bouquet of flowers. He asks if she wants to go out that night, and when she says yes, Joshua shows jealousy and says that Danny no longer works there. Danny then smiles and says goodbye to Lucy. Lucy gets to her desk and finds a rose with a strawberry juice and a note. Reading the note, she recognizes the handwriting and asks Joshua if he was the one who sent the bouquet of flowers. He says yes, but when Lucy tries to thank him, he leaves the room. Lucy is called by her boss, who congratulates her on applying for the promotion. Helene tells Lucy not to let her insecurities get the best of her and says that she should have been promoted already. Lucy gives Joshua a strawberry cake and thanks him for helping her. She also offers to clean his apartment, bake a cake, and even accompany him to his brother's wedding. But he declines and starts to leave. She continues to follow him, and when Joshua asks her to leave him alone, she pulls him into one of the company's rooms and insists that they should stop fighting and that she will go with him to the wedding. Joshua disagrees, and when Lucy tries to kiss him, he tells her she should go on her date with Danny and kiss him instead. Later, during Lucy and Danny's dinner, Lucy follows Joshua's advice and kisses Danny but realizes she feels nothing for him. After the dinner, Lucy goes to Joshua's place, and when they meet, she tells him about the kiss with Danny and says she won't see Danny again because she doesn't feel anything for him. Joshua is happy, and after they kiss, he invites her inside. Then Lucy starts looking at Joshua's bookshelf and finds an anatomy book. Joshua reveals that he studied medicine for a year, but decided to quit because he realized he didn't have a calling to be a doctor. Lucy then wants to know where his bedroom is. At that moment, they start kissing again, and Lucy suggests that they should be in a relationship. However, Joshua backs away. Lucy becomes confused and wants to know what's going on. He explains that it's not a good idea because they are still competing for the promotion. This makes Lucy furious, and she storms off. The next day, the atmosphere between them is still tense, prompting Lucy to redouble her efforts in the promotion competition. She then meets with Danny and asks for help with the presentation's graphics. He agrees to help, and as they talk, they realize it's better to remain friends. Moments later, while Lucy is decorating the Christmas tree, there's a knock on the door. When she opens it, she finds Joshua there to take her to his brother's wedding. But Lucy refuses, saying they should stay apart to stay focused on the competition. However, Joshua apologizes for hurting her feelings that night and begs her to come with him. Reluctantly, she agrees to go. Along the way, Joshua starts talking about his family and mentions that his mother is very friendly. But his father is a complicated man to deal with because he hasn't yet gotten over the fact that he quit medicine. Moments later, they arrive at the hotel, and Joshua tells the hotel manager that he has reserved 2 rooms. However, the manager informs him that the hotel is fully booked and that as a result, there is only 1 room available. Joshua starts arguing with the manager, but Lucy calms the situation and says that it won't be a problem to share the room. During the night, Lucy and Joshua prepare for the rehearsal dinner, and suddenly they start kissing again. They then decide to start a relationship. Afterward, they both decide to skip the dinner and instead have a conversation where they confess some things about their lives. The next day, Lucy meets Joshua's mother, who is delighted to meet her and finds her lovely. However, Joshua's father doesn't greet Lucy properly. As the party begins, while Lucy is drinking, Patrick's wife Mindy approaches to chat and accidentally reveals that she dated Joshua for a year. But they broke up because their relationship didn't fit. Lucy decides to question Joshua about this, and he apologizes, admitting he didn't mention Mindy because he felt embarrassed. Later, Lucy is talking to Joshua's mother when Patrick appears and asks her to take his father home because he drank too much. Lucy accompanies Joshua's mother and overhears Joshua's father criticizing him and even insults Lucy, calling her an intern. This angers her, and she defends Joshua, stating that the company hasn't gone bankrupt because of him. When Lucy finishes speaking, Joshua takes her and they leave. They go to Joshua's apartment, where he reveals that he loves Lucy. This surprises her, and she also says she wasn't prepared to hear that, reminding Joshua that one of them will have to resign. Joshua starts to calm her down, saying she can trust him. The next day at work, Lucy overhears Joshua and Richard discussing the promotion. Richard says he was pleased that Joshua followed his advice and asks if Joshua wants help to beat Lucy for the promotion, but Joshua declines. Nevertheless, Lucy gets irritated and suspects that he was just using the distraction to win the promotion. She then goes to Danny and starts to vent about feeling betrayed. While they're talking, Joshua shows up and becomes jealous seeing them together and gets annoyed when Lucy treats him with disdain. After they return to the office, they start arguing, and Joshua questions her about being with Danny, as she had said she wasn't interested in him anymore. At that moment, Lucy questions him about the conversation with Richard, and he claims he doesn't know what she's talking about. The argument is interrupted when Richard arrives, and Lucy leaves angrily, saying she won't let him and Richard destroy the company. Days pass and they continue to talk. Finally, the day of the presentation arrives, and Lucy does very well, boosting her confidence and making her believe she will win. Moments later, she sees Joshua being congratulated by the company's employees, which makes her sad as she thinks he won the promotion. However, she also congratulates him. At that moment, Joshua reveals that she got the job as administrative director, and he resigned because he got a better position at another company. Joshua also reveals that Helene knew everything, but it was her idea not to tell Lucy anything because she wanted her to stay focused on competing for the position. Then Joshua says that Lucy is very important to the company, and she becomes emotional, and they kiss. If you liked the video, leave your like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Thank you for watching.